Well, my friends, I think we'll make a little movie of Missy. So Missy's my best friend. She's pretty laid back sometimes. So we'll take a couple of little shots of her doing this and that and exciting stuff like eating and all that kind of stuff. But isn't she a cutie? Everybody needs a friend. It's my friend right there. Okay, we'll be back in a minute. Oh boy, that was even better. What a poser. Hey, miss? You're such a poser. Okay, back in a minute. Hey, my friends. So this evening we're over at the Archery range in Toronto. We're going to have a little bit of fun shooting our bows. Today we're going to use wooden arrows, and these are Port Orford cedar. They're arrows that I made, I don't know, 5-6 years ago probably, and they're spine for 40-45. I've got 5.5-inch parabolic feathers on the back, and I thought that we just use these for, to do something different with our wooden bow. Now, I'll tell you, lately I've been showing you a lot of different techniques. You know, how you can draw this way or draw that way and stand this way and that. All these things are fine and good, but I think it's time for us to get back to the basics, because all those little techniques don't really improve you that much. They sometimes are a hindrance, or they give you too much to think about. So what we're going to do is get back to the real art of shooting the English longbow. And to begin with, Horace Ford, who was a great archer, said that the left arm should be extended fully, right out there. Extend it fully. So what that really means is no bend in the elbow. A lot of times when you hear people talk about Howard Hill, they'll say how he held his arm slightly sideways with the elbow out. Well, fine. Anyhow, Horace says hold it straight out. And that's what I'm finding to be the best. In all honesty, I do find that if I press forward as far as I can and hold it there and then pull against that hold, I'll get a better shot than if I have my arm slightly bent. All the way out, just like it, and then pull like you're pulling a rope against a post. And I find that does work. So anyhow, that's what we're going to work on today. We're going to play with some old-fashioned wooden arrows with our old-fashioned wooden bow. We're going to hold that arm out there as far as possible. We're going to line it up and draw it back with a relaxed arm. And today I may anchor around the corner of the mouth, but the best anchor, in all honesty, is straight back from the corner of your mouth and just in behind your ear. Not touching the ear. We're not drawing to the ear, but drawing by the ear, and our fingers, you know how your throat goes in? Well, our fingers can go in that little space, and when it does, that arrow will go perfectly straight. So it's by the ear and in, or just straight back to the corner. And the corner is not as good an anchor as behind the ear. It's not quite as powerful. Anyhow, we'll be back in a minute, and let's do some of this real traditional, no nonsense drawing and shooting. Okay, back in a minute. Okay, now guys, let's take a couple of shots here. We're just going to draw to the ear. So we're just going to push the arrow on, press our arm out as far as we can. Horace said, full extension of the left arm. Okay, so that's taking again a few shots with our wooden arrows, 40-45 spine. They have a little plastic knock. We've got little brass bullet heads on them. I took off those little marks that would only let me draw so far, and I'm going back to just behind my jaw, you know. But the thing is that Horace said that we should fully extend that left arm, fully extend it. You know, Howard said to leave a little bend in it, but Horace said fully extend it, and that's what I'm doing. I'm fully extending that arm, and I'm pulling against that arm. Okay, fully extend it, pull against it, and quite a draw all the way back to the fingers are just going in behind the jaw. But that's what I would find, is that there's a draw line. You know, you can let it go here, or here, or here, or here. It's all in a straight line. But I find that the more power into that bow, the better. You know, it's just that my arm, when I get it back, goes there. If my arm is back, my hand goes there. So that's where I'm drawing to. That's a full draw for me, eh? Full extension, pull it out, and you got to pull it until the tendons, until your fingers are starting to straighten, the tendons are loose, your hand, your wrist, your elbow all fall in line because they're so relaxed. The only way that they will fall in line so that the tendons are holding them, not the muscles, the tendons are holding them, then the power line goes straight and you'll hit your target. Okay? But anyhow, we're fooling around a little bit today with some wooden arrows, and we've got a couple of hits over here, you know. So that's what you got to do. Relax that right arm, push it out as far as you can, pull it back as far as you can. Sounds pretty simple, eh? It's a lot better than anchoring, I'll tell you that. I'll be back in a minute. Okay guys, so I'm going to show you a very special way of lining up your arrow that works really, really great. I want to show you these techniques because the ones that I'm showing you now are really good techniques. You know, when I was showing you how to anchor and then push, those aren't really great techniques. You know, there's things that you can practice and play with and stuff, but what I'm showing you now is the real McCoy, okay? Now, this is how I line up with both eyes when I'm using both eyes, okay? Now, I'm right-handed, okay? So if I put my arrow up right on the camera, so that now you're my target, you see, okay? So the arrow is lined up, but what I do is watch how I turn my head. Now, when I turn my head like that, that lines up with my left eye and my right eye, okay? So if I've got it up, you'll see that the tail of the arrow is slightly to my right, slightly off to the right. So I turn my head to the right. You see how lined up that is now to my eyes? Both eyes. It's a very simple technique, and it's the most important thing that I know about actually getting on the line. And when I do that, I line up to my jaw. That's where the arrow's going to go. So just watch again. I'll put it up, and I'm right-handed, so the arrow tail is slightly on my right, and I'll just sort of move my head until, you see how it's straight? Move my head to the right. You can sort of see, I close my eye, but you can sort of see that it lines up to that and that. So both eyes are on target. But if I had my head over this way, it wouldn't be. I would only be drawing to one eye. And you want it to be to the right eye, but it's better when you get both of them looking down that arrow. It just is. And if you try that technique, get it up, put a little bit of a tug on it, not a lot, and then turn your head to the right until you can see right down that arrow, you'll find that you'll start to shoot better. It might sound like a small thing, but it's not. It's an important thing. Anyhow, I'll be back in a minute and we'll do some more shooting. Okay guys, so we take a couple shots. Kind of a warm night. Oh, that must have hurt. Golly. Well, I guess that will do. You know, a couple of things that we're doing is not fooling around with a lot of different little styles. This is the real McCoy. We're pushing this bow on as far out as our arm will go. Straight. Also, we are putting the bow up and turning the head to the right until it lines up. You see how that lined up? Okay? Do it again. Simple as that. Okay? And I'm drawing back in behind my ear. That's a powerful draw. There's a space in behind my ear, or not in behind my ear, in behind my jaw. You know, we should not even call it drawing to the ear. We should call it drawing to the back of the jaw, because that's where your fingers go, right in that space, and when it does, that arrow will just line up straight as can be. And that's basically it. So it's a powerful draw. None of this mamby-pamby. I started to recently start anchoring, you know, here and then on the corner of my mouth. My shots went off. It's got to be stretched out so that those tendons and those joints are just separating. And when you do that, you'll hit your target, you know. And that's what I have to say. So we're back into the longbow, and we're not back into all this fancy schmancy stuff. And there's our hits. That's good enough. Behind the ear, my dear. Okay. Back in a while. Have fun. Okay, guys. Let's take a couple more shots here. A good thing to do is to start with your point right on the gap line. Okay, so it's good to put your arrow point right on the gap line. Start where you finish. So if I started with my point right on the gap line, as long as I came back anywhere from here along that line to here at a short distance like this, I'll hit the target. So that's a varying anchor. There is no anchor. It's anywhere along there, as long as the pressure's about right. In this case, a couple of times I was letting go just a little early, and the last shot I got her back. If you're at a farther distance, you want to get it back there. But anyhow, it was varying a little bit because I don't have an anchor. I really find that it's very restrictive. And recently, again, when I tried to start to use the standard anchor, like at the corner of my mouth, my gap just, or my group just got bigger, you know. So to be simple, we're pushing it out as far as we can, and we're coming back and in behind our jaw, right by our ear. That's where we can line it up. Now, there's 4 points to aiming, you know. There's the target, and there's your eye, and that's the only straight line. The only straight line. After that, you put your tip on, and then you have to get the back on. And if it's going in behind my ear, I can also get the back on. So anyhow, eye on, tip on, back on, with a relaxed arm. And if you do that, you can get some hits. Like I say, you know, we're not going to the Olympics, but we're going to scare the hell out of the enemy. Okay? Okay, guys, make sure you're having fun. Bye now. The sun is getting low. I don't hear any jets right now or planes. I hear some little birds sometimes. It's real nice, real peaceful. A little touch of nature never hurt anybody. I bet that hurt though. Oh man, I'm sure glad that's not me. Turn the head a little bit right. Get one eye behind the other more or less. Okay, what we're doing here is holding the bow at 45 degrees. We're making our little trough. We're putting the arrow up and we're turning the head to the right until it lines up with both eyes. Then we're simply drawing back until it goes in behind the jaw, where it can be straightened. We make sure that our right hand, our fingers, our knuckles, our hand, our wrist are all so relaxed that they're almost being pulled apart, just being held by the tendons. We let that right arm completely relax. We've got the arrow on the center line. Let it go. And if you do that, you'll get some hits. Someplace out there. Yeah, there we go. There's our hits. Okay? So that's how it's done. Turning the head slightly to the right. Get both eyes on the target. Anyhow, I'll talk to you later. Bye now.